Hello and welcome to the Emirates ahead of North London Derby Day. And don't over 50,000 fans know it after what was an historic summer for women's football in this country. It's set to be a landmark day in the WSL. You all excited?
Yeah! The legacy of this tournament is the change in society. We've got people at games and we brought everybody together. But the legacy of this team is winners, and that's the start of a journey.
It's taken 3 years, but the FA Women's Super League is finally here.
1-0 Arsenal. The teenager scores the first goal of the new Women's Super League, and it falls Arsenal's way. Yankee! Oh, it's a special strike. Arsenal are the women's champions of England.
Laura James comes on to make her senior debut for Arsenal.
History is being made in the Women's Super League. Shots, and City do take the lead.
Lisa Evans, 9-0. Mitchell, and it is Arsenal 11, Bristol City 1.
Marvellous Miedemar, majestic Miedemar.
And Miedemar!
Spotted the runner, Vivian Miedemar.
Records continue to tumble.
And Vivian Miedemar makes WSL history. It will be Chelsea's naming history.
Fabulous goal!
And Chelsea are the champions for a record third time in a row.
Yes, it's a record crowd for the WSL, and having seen Arsenal involved in so many of the moments that have grown this league, it feels right that it should be here. More than 50,000 tickets have been sold for this one. And so much expectation on Leah Williamson and her Gunners, along with it being Derby Day and the chance to take further advantage of their main title rivals, who both lost on opening weekend. Tottenham are by no means the supporting act here though. They came within seconds of beating Arsenal last season, and they're on the up in the WSL, finishing 5th last season. Yeah, kick-off here at the Emirates in just under 10 minutes time. Well, when the tears dried out and we all came back down to earth, it was ticket sales and bums on seats that we wanted, and we saw record attendances in crowds across the league last weekend, and it's set to continue today. Joining me for this one is former defender for Tottenham, Jenna Scolari, and having lifted the FA Cup with Arsenal, it is, of course, Farrah Williams. Jenna, I'm going to come straight to you because the record attendance for the WSL was actually held by Spurs, 38,000. Just how good is it now that that momentum is continuing?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I was part of the squad on that day, and the crowd there, and to get those numbers in for a London derby is what we've always wanted. And I think fast forward a season, and now we've got 50,000 plus people inside this stadium. It's incredible. And you know, every London derby that happens now, they get juicier and juicier, and the atmosphere is going to be electric here.
That's why it's not even just playing this weekend, obviously at the Emirates. You've got playing at the King Power. You've got, it's like continuing. So it's not just those one-offs, and the FA have been very clever in doing it in that men's international fixture, Farrah.
I think it's really smart to do that. There's no men fixtures over the weekend, only international, so it's smart. You know, they can come out and support their team and the women's team, so they become one. What's been good is that the momentum off the back of the Lionesses' success in the summer. I think we've seen it not just today here with 50,000. We've seen record sales throughout the WSL in the opening game, so it's fantastic to see.
I know that water's coming closer to you. I'll give you a chance to move right now, because hoping to spoil the party today here is, of course, Spurs. They've recruited really well this summer, and head coach Rhian Skinner has been speaking to Joe Curry.
The gap between these two sides appear to be getting smaller every season. Is there still a gap at all between you and Arsenal?
Well, look, I think the biggest thing for us is we've got to keep making sure that we do the performances that are going to help us to keep bridging that gap, and whether that be today, tomorrow, throughout the course of the season. Obviously, that's something that we're aspiring to against a team that's been established for a long time. So the biggest thing today is that we focus on us and we keep trying to make sure that we progress in the way that we want.
You had a wonderful start to the season last weekend. This is going to be another occasion again. Over 50,000 tickets have been sold. You're in front of the TV cameras. You've never beaten Arsenal in the league though. How do your players feel turning up here today?
I think we're just really excited about the opportunity. You know, obviously the fans here today. I think for us, it's just about making sure we keep working on the things that we want to do. We want to give it a really good battle today. It's a North London derby. Make no mistake, we'll be ready to go when the first whistle goes, and we want to try and make sure we make life as difficult for every team as possible, including Arsenal.
Okay, having survived the sprinklers, Jenna, I suppose when you look at the recruitment, a key one in that is Drew Spence.
Yeah, massive, massive signing. I think Tottenham have made no secrets that they want to really kick on now and break into that top four, and signing a player like Drew with that over 10 years experience in the WSL, being in a winning change room every day with Chelsea, you know, winning, she knows how to win leagues, she knows how to win cups, and I think on the pitch in midfield, she's exactly what they need. I think off the pitch, she's got a massive, massive role to play, maybe a different role in this team as a leadership role, you know, bringing that experience from Chelsea into the dressing room. I think it's a type of player that it's a great signing for Tottenham.
A disruptor.
Yeah, she's that as well. But I think what she brings to this Tottenham team is something different to what they had last year. They never had midfielders joining in from deep and getting goals. She will add goals to this midfield and this Tottenham team that really struggled for goals last season. Hence why they dropped out of the top three.
Okay, well that's Spurs. Let's talk about Arsenal right now, because last time we saw Arsenal head coach Jonas Eidevall, he was with us as part of the punditry team during the Euros. But it's back to his day job and he's been speaking to Joe Curry.
Morning.
How are you? Lovely
Good.
to see you.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's a huge game this weekend for Arsenal. North London derby at the Emirates against Spurs. Heading into a training session ahead of that, what can we expect today?
What can you expect? Hopefully that you can see how much we like being a part of this. We are all very excited about tomorrow. So a lot of spirit, but then of course also focus on the things that we need to prepare in the game plan against Spurs. So we have the chance today to practice some bits and maybe also to correct some things on the pitch here, so we can make the mistakes today rather than tomorrow.
You sound very mindful in your approach to coaching.
I think you have to be. I think you have to understand that it's a privilege being working on a club like this and on this level. And the moment you take that for granted and you feel like I'm entitled to these things, I think you lose that a little bit. You're part here of Arsenal history, and to just be a tiny part of that and to be able to be out there together with the players and the other staff today, living that moment, I'm grateful for it every day. Make sure we get the intensity. Good start. Let's go again, reaction. Out. She's so quick, but me.
50,000 tickets sold at the Emirates. As a manager, are these the matches that you love, or do you dread them?
No. Like, I love it. It's. I wish it would be like this every weekend. I want us to grow the sport, the club, the team, and if we want to be better, we need to have big attendances. And that means that it's sustainable going forward, and that's really important. It's really well done by the club.
I know it's still quite early on in the season, but this is a North London derby. How much would you let yourself celebrate if it all goes to plan?
You will have a lot of pain if it doesn't go to plan, but you always have a lot of joy when it does. It's the best feeling after, when you have played well and you have won, and just to sit like that, those 5-10 minutes after that game is the most precious. And that's what you live for, to experience that again and again and again. And hopefully we do it tomorrow. We do our very best.
Well, look, thank you so much for letting us in to see training the day before such a big game. I hope you find the joy that you've spoken about today in the game day tomorrow.
Me too. That's what we live for. Thank you.
That's Marwa Jonas says it. Oh, I'm actually told he was out for dinner with Arsene Wenger and David Dean this week, getting a lot of insights. But talking about insights, we know a lot about the England players that return to this Arsenal team. But one that's always been present, Farah, is Kim Little.
Yeah, and for me, she's vital in this team. It's interesting she went to America in the summer to keep herself fit and fresh, coming back, because they had a long summer with the Euros. But what she does, opening game of the season for Arsenal, it's just the way her awareness and her composure inside the box. You see there, the way she just takes it and scores the goal. She links play from deep, she can link play in and around the final third, but also she stays aware, and you can see here, just aware on the edge of the box, and when it breaks down, she counter-presses really well and just settles her team again. She's somebody, as I said, from midfield, links play. You can see here, little balls around the corner and joins in play, whether it's scoring or creating.
Yeah, and I think it's key for Tottenham that when they are in possession, they're aware of her press on them. So I think that's when a player like Drew, who's cool, calm and composed on the ball, could be the difference. So, but yeah, fantastic midfielder, and she's a shield for the back line and also creative going forward.
Okay, well, how much excitement is building here. The fans, Farah, the noise, it just reminds me of the summer. How do Spurs stop that Arsenal attack?
It's going to be difficult, but we've seen Spurs this season. They've changed formation with the signings they've made. They've been able to adopt a 5 at the back with a 4 in the middle and 1 up front. So I think they'll do that. They'll probably sit up Arsenal for a little bit and just fill them out and probably play on the counter-attack here. It's a big pitch for this Tottenham team.
Okay, well, as you can see, the teams are walking out. The excitement is building. And excited to be reunited is our commentary team for you today. Rachel Brown-Finnis is alongside Robin Cowell.
Oh, reunited, and it feels so good. And what a game we have on our return here. It's the hottest ticket in town, the North London derby at the Emirates Stadium. Euros fever from the summer has continued into autumn. Over 50,000 are expected in the capital today. Another incredible occasion for the women's game. Let's get your teams then for this North London derby, first of the season. The home side, Arsenal, 3 changes to the side that drew with Ajax in the first leg of their Champions League qualifier. Laura Wienreuter starts at right back. Katie McCabe and Caitlin Ford join the forward line. Ford has scored 8 times in all competitions against Spurs, including 2 here at the Emirates last season. Stina Blackstenius, who scored in both games so far this season, is named among the substitutes. 3 alterations for Spurs, who beat Leicester in their opening game. Cho So-hyun comes into the midfield, as well as Kaya Simon. There's a first start for summer signing Celine Bizet. Former Chelsea midfielder Drew Spence scored on her debut last weekend and is the only player in the Spurs squad to have scored in the WSL against Arsenal. Players to watch. The eyes of the world, well, in England, were on Beth Mead over the summer, and she's continued that hot streak, Rachel.
She has indeed. She's become the go-to, hasn't she, for many years. Kim Little, Viviana Miedema have been the duo that have stunned this WSL, but after this summer, the floor is yours, Beth Mead. What a summer, and continues. That form started with her Arsenal form last season. She took that into the Euros, culminating with her lifting that trophy as a proud Lioness, and her form continues so far this season. 2 goals in the last game.
And a new face in the Spurs lineup, leading the line today. Her first start, Celine Bizet. Interesting to see what she offers.
Absolutely. I think Spurs, since Rach Williams signed for Manchester United, Spurs lost that out-and-out number 9 player. They had Ting Jia Li, Chinese number 9, who didn't quite work, who's left over the summer. But they brought in Celine Bizet, who is a number 9 position, that go-to striker, that focal point, Norwegian international. So I'm excited to see what this young Norwegian centre-forward can bring, and can they build their team around them.
The atmosphere has been building in this part of London for some time. Men, women and children making their way to the stadium today to be part of what's set to be a record crowd in the Women's Super League. Rebecca Welsh, vastly experienced referee, has the honour being the woman in the middle today as the 2 teams say their final words to each other. And it's set to be another tremendous atmosphere we saw throughout the summer at the Euros, and it's great to see that women's footballers continue to be supportive. What a moment again. Leah Williamson lifted the trophy as captain of England, and now once again leading her team out here at the Emirates Stadium for her beloved Arsenal. And before we get underway, both sets of supporters take the knee, continuing their opposition, their message against all forms of discrimination. Kaya Simon gets us underway in this North London derby. It was 3-0 to the Gunners here at the back end of last season. Arsenal finishing second, but at the Hive in the reverse fixture earlier on, Spurs managed their first ever point against Arsenal, 1-1. And I think that's the aim for this season, Rachel, isn't it? To continue to put in those good performances against the big sides in the division.
You're right, since they were promoted, they were hard to beat. Certainly when Karen Hills left the club, Ariane Skinner came in. She's made them very organised, very difficult to beat. But then she's built on that, and last season was part of that, adding goals to it, adding a goal, an attacking threat. Ashley Neville's been a huge part of that, moving from a defensive position to more of an attacking wing-back, which we see her today on the left.
Ashley Neville and Drew Spence scored long ranges against Leicester in their opening game 2-1 win. Arsenal with a 4-0 win against Brighton, then a 2-2 draw against Ajax, which leaves their Champions League hopes hanging in the balance a tad. Reverse fixture in the Netherlands is next week. First Arsenal attack, and it's snuffed out well by Zadorsky. A big clearance by Spencer. But Arsenal unbeaten against Spurs in the WSL. But you've seen the mid-table teams get a lot closer to the traditional top 3 or top 4.
A great opening weekend, wasn't it, to illustrate that point. Both Manchester City losing to Aston Villa and Chelsea losing to Liverpool, newly promoted Liverpool.
Here's Amy Turner. Oh, she's gifted that straight to Caitlin Ford. Down the line for McCabe now. Opts to go inside and not deliver the cross. It's a bit sloppy from Velty, but she's won it back brilliantly. Velty pulls it back, needs unmarked, deflected, and out for a corner. Well, that, we all thought, was going to be goal number 1 for Arsenal and for Beth Mead.
Well, when Beth Mead gets it in that position, good turnover from Leah Velty, picks out Beth Mead absolutely brilliantly. You see what Ashley Neville does. I mean, that's a phenomenal cutback to take out 6 players. Ashley Neville travels down the line of the ball, and you can see that that ball destined for the bottom corner.
Here comes the corner, flicked on. To be retrieved here by Miedemar. Again, taking up her new position as a attacking midfielder. She's done well to keep possession for Arsenal. Raffaelli, a Brazilian international. Appearances restricted after signing in January due to injury, but looks like she is the preferred centre-back partner for Leah Williamson for Arsenal, at the moment anyway. Intercepted by Simon. Ford's going to put Spencer under pressure. Clearance not the most convincing, but did the job. Spence, though, dispossessed.
It's excellent tracking back from Kim Little. Just didn't allow Drew Spence any time on that ball. Interesting seeing Zinsberg how high her starting position is. It allows Arsenal to start higher up the pitch.
Little wriggling away and spotting Mead. Cross comes in, Mead takes aim! And this time Beth Mead strikes again inside 5 minutes. Applause from her coach. Someone put her out. She's on fire.
She can do no wrong this time, drifting out to the left-hand side of that front 3. and we know exactly what she can do. Opens the body up, and how many times have we seen this? We had the pleasure of being right behind Beth Mead on this occasion. You could see the far post gaping, and Rebecca Spencer in the Spurs goal, absolutely no chance. Spurs look disorganised at the back. They're playing a 3. Ashley Neville drops in to make a 4 when required. Arsenal are just too sharp.
Consecutive WSL goals for Beth Mead to start the season on her 100th WSL appearance for the Gunners. There have been T-shirts printed about her revenge tour, which started at the beginning of last season after she was passed over for a place in the Olympic squad. And going to add a few more dates to that. Surely she can't still be angry, but either way, it's working. A significant setback early on for Spurs.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed because they pride themselves on being organised, on not giving up easy chances.
Could be another one here. Ford in acres of space, taking on the defence and then finding Miedemar. Here's McCabe, goes for goal. Not far away, always rising.
And Arsenal have recognised it down Spurs' right-hand side. It's exactly where the space is. Being 3 at the back is quite narrow. And there's a space in the channel for the likes of Katie McCabe or whoever ends up on that left-hand side, this time whistling over, and we've seen Katie McCabe score from that distance and further out in an Arsenal shirt.
The one thing that might just give Spurs a little bit of hope, they did manage to win a lot of points from losing positions last season. There's Jonas Eidevall, who has yet to lose a home game in the WSL since he took charge at the beginning of last season, whether that is at Boreham Wood or here at the Emirates.
He's not quite as animated as we saw him at the opening game of the Emirates last season.
Again, Arsenal are in. Here's Catley. Delivers the cross. A few shouts of handball against Amy Turner, but I think that hit her leg first.
Good hustle from Kaya Simon. It's exactly what Rachel Williams used to do for Spurs. Kaya Simon tasked with that. Has to leave something on Arsenal.
Here is Neville. Now Jessica Naz. Precision on the passes, forcing Turner to retreat. And not on the same wavelength. Space here for Simon. And that's well done. Here's Bizet. Hasn't got too many options to her right. Now Turner has to go for the early ball in. It's a good one, but it's well defended by Raffaelli. Foul given against Beth Mead and a free kick for Arsenal, but that showed a bit of promise for Spurs.
And a bit of ambition as well, having players forwards in Arsenal's defensive third, in their attacking third. But you're right, it does look quite disjointed, not quite sure how they're building up. But Spurs are always going to come into this knowing they're going to concede possession to Arsenal. They have to make those chances count.
Raffaelli. Williamson. Jan Skinner, the Tottenham coach, appointed November of 2020, has really taken Spurs on. Highest ever finish in the WSL last season, 5th. Most points, fewest goals conceded. Real progress in a league that it's hard to make progress in, especially for sort of mid-table clubs.
Right, that top three has almost been predetermined, hasn't it, for the last few years? But with teams being given, in some ways, more equal footing, professional status, it's been the 4th year of that.
So they're trying to get onto that one. Kim Little fouled, and Drew Spence.
Tottenham have got to just take this opportunity to settle into the game. The first 5 minutes was all Arsenal, they got the goal. And if Arsenal put their foot down and Tottenham laid down, it could have already been 2 or 3 for Arsenal. So time to consolidate for Tottenham right now.
As it stands, if it stays like this, Arsenal extend their run to 10 WSL wins in a row. Wienreuter up against Neville, concedes the corner.
And that's Ashley Neville playing as a left full-back up against Arsenal's out-and-out right-back, and they're right by the corner flag, so you can see what Arsenal want to do. Wienreuter pushing right on, not allowing Ashley Neville to get forward at all.
Comes the corner, delivered by the Australian international Steph Catley. Miedemar was there, bounces off Raffaelli, and cleared.
Very well organised Spurs there, and from a set piece, you can see their man-to-man marking literally touch tight, every single one of them. Get that from a Rianne Skinner side, are generally very organised on set pieces.
Interesting how they've lined up. Spurs again, thought Bizet might have been the central striker, but Spence and Simon have sometimes been the most forward players. Very fluid system, it seems.
Absolutely, and started with 3 at the back and almost gone to a flat 4 at the back to try and counter Miedemar pushing on. Sumanen has dropped, sometimes makes a 5 man-to-man marking with Miedemar. That's what these sides are now. They can be fluid. They understand how to play different formations, and you know what they call from the touchline or a decision on the pitch. They can switch and play various formations.
There's the Canadian, Shalina Zadorsky, goes long towards Simon. Williamson with the defensive header away. Raffaelli again down the line. It's good run from Ford. Up against Bartrip, pokes wide.
Well, you had one playmaker at the back, Leah Williamson, but now you've got 2. You've got a ball playing centre half of Raphael.
Leeds sends it in. Welty urged to shoot. She tries to slide a through ball towards Miedemar, well defended by Spurs. Mead onto Catley, pursued by 3 white shirts. She's still going, Catley. Eventually it's Cho So-hyun manages to dispossess Steph Catley. Boxing her in.
Did really well there. Both players did well. Cho So-hyun in the end waiting for the moment to try and get possession for her team. But Steph Catley there taking on 3 players high up the pitch. That's what Arsenal bring, out and out, endless attacking options.
We'll get the official attendance here, of course, but important to point out that Tottenham Hotspur women have also sold out their season tickets for their upcoming season at home at Leyton Orient's ground at Brisbane Road. So really great to see so many people want to not only go to one-off games, but support their team throughout the season.
I hope the freestylers go to Leyton Orient, because at Barnet, the Tottenham Hotspur pre-match entertainment was freestylers on the side. It was great, and beatboxers. I loved it.
Balti, now Catley. Okay, lovely turn away from Neville. There's another nibble. McCabe really not happy with that one.
Well, we've seen that before, haven't we? North London derbies, this is what it brings. It brings fire, not just Beth Mead, but fire in the form of Katie McCabe. Ashley Neville has been at this club the longest servant for Tottenham Hotspur players, and this will mean so much to her for where the game's progressed, but also this one-to-one contest at the Emirates.
There's a rivalry that's pretty new, but spice level going from mild to medium to hot, as these two meet more regularly. Oh, that's clever. Around the corner. And out of play. Really well worked, didn't quite come off.
An excellent tracking from Jessica Naz as well. Did really well to recognise what Beth Mead was doing and to track Beth Mead stride for stride. It's easier said than done.
Spurs trying to build from the back. Put out by Kim Little. Also composed in their play, as we've come to expect. Ford now dropping deep.
Excellent possession out the back for Arsenal. Kim Little and Leah Volti being the two options splitting the front line and midfield of Spurs. Get on the ball. It was such an attractive team to watch.
From Spurs' point of view, this is going to take it out of you, isn't it? The concentration levels, and then not actually getting a feel of the ball for huge periods of the game.
Very true, because it's not just possession-based to look good, it's possession with a purpose, and they're just waiting for the runs of Kim Little. They're in possession at the back. Steph Catley, Beth Mead.
Ford creates the space, no one there though for the cross, and Zadorsky manages to slip that away.
Look at that though, 4 Arsenal players keeping them in their defensive third, turning it over. Excellent team play.
Here's Williamson with a bit of space. Kim Little trying the first time ball towards Ford, doesn't quite come off. Still trying to pin Spurs in, but a bit of relief after the foul on Drew Spence.
Spurs worked exceptionally hard there to ensure nothing came of that wonderful turn from Caitlin Ford. Ball into the right area, but for one of the first times, no one there for Arsenal.
Great challenge from Little. Arsenal away here with Miedemar. Slips in McCabe. The cross is sliced and away by Suominen. Only as far as Miedemar. McCabe, away by Zadorsky. And Naz tries to bring it away. She's done well. Some territory for Spurs at least.
Yeah, excellent awareness from Jessica Naz. taking up that space, eating up the pitch. Buying herself a team a few yards and a few moments to regroup.
Here is Bizet, Norwegian international. Simon just runs it out of play, bit of a heavy touch. Got to take more advantage. Take a bigger advantage, I should say, while they actually have the ball, Tottenham. Easier said than done, of course. Another chance for Arsenal. The cross is headed away by Turner, out for another Arsenal corner.
And Amy Turner, one of Spurs' new recruits this summer. Former Manchester United player, various other WSL clubs, lots of experience. I think that's what Rhiannon Skinner needed more and more of, new recruits, but those who are already very familiar with the Women's Super League.
It's a low cross this time. Dealt with in the first instance. Catley. Lovely ball over towards Mead. Sat up nicely for her, but actually I think that's going to go for a throw-in.
Well, you had no doubt, did you, that when it sat up just like that on the half volley, when you feel like as confident as Beth Mead must feel off of the back of the summer, the season she had last season, you must feel that you can do anything, and rightly so, and that's really, from a performance mindset point of view, where you want to be. Any player, to get the best out of them, that is where you want to be.
A lot of the coaches who have lionesses in their ranks will have Serena Wiegmann to thank for installing that confidence, the belief, the mindset.
You've not jumped on board with any Wiegmann merchandise, have you?
Not me, no. Just bought the club shop. I think you do sometimes see a drop-off, especially after such a high, but it seems like it's just continuing. And as the offside flag goes up, you do... I think the fact that they did get together actually again before the start of the season, even though it was slightly weird, may have helped, actually.
I completely remember not having won, personally, the Euros, but having been away or been at the Olympics as an example, and huge crowds and that excitement, or getting to the final of the Euros in 2009 as we did, and then coming back, and it was absolutely an emotional drop-off. You know, you'd been in a bubble for weeks on end, and suddenly you were kind of back to normal life, as it were, and the girls have done great.
Bizet spotted Zinsberger off her line. Worth a try. As you mentioned, Zinsberger likes a high starting position, but that was always going to have to be pretty perfect to beat the goalkeeper from there. And a foul given. And if it wasn't, Multi would have been in trouble there.
Yeah, and that's what Spurs need to do. They need to get a little bit higher and affect those players like Valti or Kim Little are receiving the ball off the defenders, because they're the ones who are turning it from defence into those channels, predominantly down the left, that have caused Spurs so many problems.
As dispossess. A little slowed down. Helps it on. Wienreuter has done brilliantly to keep that in. Mead in a bit of space here. Turns away from the challenge, and Neville on the retreat with a really good defensive action there to put it out for a corner.
I mean, that all started from Kim Little dispossessing a Spurs player, playing it out wide, and how many times have we seen that? Right back, Beth Mead down the right, overlapping. Great recovery from Ashley Neville. She's telling her team, you've got to look after the ball in midfield. Sloppily lost possession. Arsenal punish you.
Angle change for the corner, away by Cho. Past the halfway mark. And in the sense that they haven't conceded more, it's been a good response from Spurs, because sometimes you do see the floodgates open. Lovely turn from Valti. Behind Miedemar. Naz can't keep hold of it. Here comes Kim Little. Tries to chip it towards Miedemar. Another corner kick.
The Spurs are getting overrun in midfield time and time again. Kim Little just finding those little angles and pockets to support, so it can just be a wall pass from Valti to get him out of trouble. And then quickly they spread it wide. Kim Little, perennially, every single year, is Arsenal's go-to most influential player. Understands the game exceptionally well.
She spent the summer on loan in the NWSL with Rain.
Just for something to do.
Why not? Towards Williamson, made by Bartrip. Bit of pinball over there. Might fall for McCabe. The greatest clearance from Drew Spence, but Neville completes it.
Turning the screw now, Arsenal. Kaya Simons just isolated up there on her own.
Williamson's ball in. Turner deals with that well under pressure from McCabe.
Edeval will want Arsenal to get on the score sheet again.
Alty's cross this time. Another corner.
And Spurs are doing everything last-ditch defending to keep the score at just 1-0. But they've got no outlet. They can't keep hold of the ball once they have worked really hard to either block or to turn over possession. Which, surprised to see changes from Rhian Skinner.
Arsenal have mixed up their corner kicks so far. See what they go for this time. It's again going to come from the boot of Catley. Drifts it in towards the middle. Bizet's clearance picked up by Valti. An easy claim for Spencer.
Yeah, really good early shout there from Jamaican international Rebecca Spencer. Back in the team ahead of Corpola, Finnish goalkeeper who finished off the season.
Spencer and Spence both helped Jamaica qualify for the World Cup this summer. Productive summer for them as well. Williamson fully turning out of trouble. Reuter, technically gifted players, don't mind receiving the ball under pressure. Here's McCabe, finds ball back to Zinsberger. Uncharacteristically poor ball from Williamson.
Always really good movement from the front three or front four when Miedemar steps in, because they're constantly checking away from their players to then get into the gap between Spurs defence and midfield, to be that player to get on the ball from Lee Williamson and Raphael. That's what they're looking for, is that movement from the front line.
Neville getting stuck in once again. Bolton showing her vision. Setting Catley away. Now McCabe. Little! Side netting. Beautiful Arsenal move.
Was excellent build-up, because that started from the back when Beth Mead had to play it back to Leah Williamson, and then through Leah Volti in that holding midfield role, played it out wide, fed it into Kim Little, and she just hit the outside of the side netting. Fantastic build-up, really good possession, but useful possession leading to that wide shot.
Little's also scored in both of Arsenal's opening 2 games in the WSL and the Champions League this season. Here's Ford. Wienreuter. Fancy to go herself. This will be our first full season for Arsenal.
Not bad. I mean, Ashley Neville dropped off and Jessica Nars had not quite got across in time, so why not when you're flying high confidence-wise?
She had a good Euros as well for Austria. Wienreuter, another really impressive tournament for the Austrians.
Yeah, they've grown in stature, haven't they, under Marina Fuhrmann? They were excellent, very organised. Wienreuter being a part of that back line, excelled in the Euros.
Simon turning into the challenge of Kim Little. The complete midfielder, not just the range of passing, but she really does win a lot of tackles.
When I played against her, she got number 10 on her back, and she played in that higher midfield role. And free scoring.
Caitlin Ford wriggles away. Bartrip makes the block. Here is Wienreuter, just slips at the vital moment. Caitlin Ford, on her way to goal, was definitely having her shirt pulled. A good advantage played, though, by the referee.
I imagine Cho will get booked and the ball does go dead.
Let's wait and see. Referees sometimes have short memories.
You see that from Ford, didn't stop, didn't pull up, no arms raised, just got on with it. Could see she can still get an advantage.
Can't get away from Turner. Now McCabe. A loose ball, but Naz couldn't take control.
Yeah, not a lot of movement from the front line on that occasion from Raffaelli in front of her, but you just got to be patient then. Keep the ball moving. With Zinsberger playing so high, it's like Arsenal have got another player on the pitch. From a possession point of view, you're thinking, why are Spurs not pressing them? Well, it's exactly what Arsenal want them to do.
Cantley. Now some room. It's a lovely ball in. Neville there once again. Such an intelligent defensive player, Ashley Neville. Always in the right place at the right time.
Played in so many different positions as well.
She's really come on leaps and bounds last season in particular. Now a real confident WSL player.
Arsenal wanting to get the game started quickly. Too quickly for Rebecca Welch. Definite foul from Jessica Nars. See here, actually it was Molly Bartrip, my mistake, who pulled the shirt of Caitlin Ford. I didn't see any yellow card brandished, so short memory has worked in Spurs' favour. And yet another chance for Arsenal now to get that second goal.
Tottenham have really showed they are a difficult team to score against.
Yeah, Rebecca Spencer's not made a save yet.
It's a good-looking ball in towards Miedemar. Spurs doing well to defend these set pieces. Oh, Velti's down. Drew Spence, that was a well-timed tackle. It looked like it in the first instance anyway, but Velti's in a bit of pain here.
Indeed, and she's been key to everything so far that Arsenal have been exceptional about, and that's those little angled runs to get on the ball. And see here the tackle, initially it looked, yeah, it's a really well-timed tackle from Drew Spence, absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's how Velti has landed. See how she just smashes down onto the hard turf there, jolted her back. Sometimes there's a very fine line between super fit and being on the kind of precipice of kind of potentially pushing your body to the limits, and an impact injury like that can be difficult.
Says the woman who had 2 injections in her knees yesterday. It's the price you pay, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. But myself and all the other ex-England players who are here today have been part of the WSL, and before would not change a thing.
Our next offering comes on Wednesday, Chelsea against West Ham, 7 o'clock. You can join us on the iPlayer for the build-up, 6:45, and then the game will be on BBC Two. That's the rearranged game from the scheduled opening weekend. Looks like Velti's going to be okay to continue.
Looking forward to that midweek game. Paul Konchesky's first time up against Emma Hayes, arguably the best manager the WSL has seen.
2 names you didn't really think would be together in the same sentence, but might be saying that every West Ham game this season, to be honest. But a good win for them to start the season against Everton.
I don't think either manager will hold back either.
Here's Zadorsky for Spurs. Neville on to Naz. Pace manages to make up for heavy touch. There is Bizet. Space opening up. You see, clearly not a stronger foot. Shot on target, but an easy one for Zinsberger.
It was, but probably only the second occasion I can remember Spurs stringing more than 2 or 3 passes together, and it was about 6 or 7. So better build-up play. Clearly that little breaking play when Valti's been down, it's given Spurs a chance to regroup. Messages reinforced from Rhian Skinner, because they all came over to the touchline at that point. She's transformed the Spurs team, hasn't she, Rhian Skinner? All the good work that Karen Halls did.
Lovely play from Mead. Ball ricochets into the path of McCabe. Catley away from Turner, but Turner does well to get back and concede another corner.
Amy Turner did exceptionally well there, because at first it looked like she was committing.
Here comes the corner, and it's well defended again though. Back in Arsenal possession. Oh, flick towards goal and just wide from Caitlin Ford. Not quite enough on it.
Oh, it's a beautiful, I mean, poor clearance again from Spurs. But this time, look at that ball in, beautiful. And Caitlin Ford just can't quite angle it. Gets up brilliantly in acres of space, picked out wonderfully well from Katie McCabe on this left-hand side.
Jonas Eidevall won't have too many complaints, but I think he will not be too happy with the scoreline.
Don't know how many times we use the word ruthlessness this summer in regards to the Lionesses' performance, and that's exactly what Jonas Eidevall will want more of from his Arsenal team.
A couple of tackles flying in. Kim Little drawing a foul off Sumanen.
Felty and Little have been exceptional, haven't they, in this opening 40 minutes. They just read the game so well. I'm sure we'll hear from Farrah Williams at half-time.
Ball towards Miedemar. It's played off her. It's a goal kick.
Good tracking from Zadorsky there. Just gets on the back foot initially, Suman, and gets beyond her, and Zadorsky comes across and reads that no-nonsense tackle on Miedemar. And does well to earn her team possession of the ball.
Sumanen finds Spence, didn't quite find the intended target. There's Cho. These last few minutes, Spurs just enjoying a little bit more possession, but as easily dispossessed by Raffaelli. Kim Little's got a few options here. That's a perfect pass, and Beth Mead is in again. It's Miedemar. Neville there again. Another crucial block from Ashley Neville to deny Arsenal a second. What a pass that was from Kim Little to play in Mead.
Brilliant interception from Raphael. Jessica Naz just waited for the ball to come to her. Raphael nipped in. He knew what was going to happen from there on.
Into the final few minutes.
Spurs done a really exceptional job of not letting that back line be breached. Yes, they've conceded by blocking shots, numerous corners, but Rebecca Spencer has had very little to do.
Through pass read by Zadorsky. Straight to McCabe and back to possession of Arsenal. Mead is offside, flag has gone up. Another great defence-splitting pass though, this time from Ford.
Marginal one there. The back line of Spurs have been very well organised when Ashley Neville's dropped in. Just about got that one right. And Spurs, Becky Spencer will take her time, the goalkeeper, take her time now, eke out those last few minutes, because I think Spurs after the opening few minutes will be happy, or at least happy that they could stem.
Can they? Miedemar's through on goal here. It's Vivian Miedemar! She was never going to miss that. A huge error at the back. And Miedemar opens her account for the season. The scoreline now more reflective of the dominance of Arsenal. Exactly what was not needed from a Spurs point of view.
No, absolutely criminal. Got to be risk averse. And to put that ball on Simonen's foot. Gift Arsenal. I mean, she's stretching for it, Simon, and she wasn't expecting it, I don't think, from Becky Spencer. Everyone else had stepped up. And as you said, Miedemar, who wasn't in as free-scoring form last season and certainly didn't have the Euros she would have wanted for Netherlands, happy to accept that gift.
Spurs trying to press high. Arsenal working their way out. Tottenham will not want to concede again before the break. Ford, drop of the shoulder, and again, trying to get away from Bartrip. She does just that. Pullback's good, picked up by Miedemar. Drew Spence gets the ball clear.
virtually impossible, isn't it, for Kaya Simon when the ball does get pumped up there to hold it. There was 4 players around her then, trying to scramble possession for her team. But Rhian Skinner, the Spurs manager, will be furious that the team had consolidated. Then a lapse in concentration, that error allows Arsenal to double their lead.
1 minute of time added on. From Mead. Neville again sticks to her task, puts it out for a corner. She's enjoying herself today.
Yeah, and so she should. Great recovery from Ashley Neville though. Look how quick she is to respond. That's all you can do as a defender, and I would want as a goalkeeper is want my defender to quickly get over it and recover, and she did.
Towards the near post, Mead threw herself at it. And that's the half-time whistle. Arsenal with a comfortable lead, fitting of their dominance. Beth Mead with her 3rd WSL goal already this season inside 5 minutes. Spurs frustrated the Gunners until they gifted them a second. Lillian Miedemar one-on-one with the keeper, and she was never going to miss that one. Rachel, a long way back from Spurs now. If they'd just got into the break a single goal behind, it would have been a different story.
It would have, because it would have given them a chance to go in, regroup, refresh their tactics, their outlook on it. 2-0, they've got to do exactly the same. You can't argue that Arsenal haven't deserved a 2-0 lead. They were sensational early on and have eased to keep possession throughout the whole first half. But ultimately, you know, it's the score going in at half-time that you judge your performance on. Rhian Skinner needs to change second half, and Arsenal needs to be more ruthless.
Impressive first half from the home side here at the Emirates. Half-time, Arsenal 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Well, the crowd of over 50,000 have sure been treated to an attacking Arsenal display, Farah. Really dominant.
It's been really exciting from Arsenal that, you know, they started off really well. I think they've put Tottenham on the back foot. I thought Tottenham would start the game out, you know, sitting off of Arsenal, but they've put them so much on the back foot that actually Tottenham cannot get out of this game. They've been dominant in possession, they've been really creative. All I would want from Arsenal is a few more shots on target. For all the dominance in possession they've had, they haven't really created that many clear-cut chances.
Jenna, a former Spurs defender, we know it's hard defending against the likes of Miedemar, of Beth Mead and Kim Little add into that. But how do Tottenham, from your perspective of that first half, try and get into this game more?
Yeah, it's really tough for them. They're having a really tough time in this first half. I think the midfield, they're struggling in the midfield to control the game in that area. And defensively, I feel like they're getting overrun down the left-hand side. And it's all about communication. I think half-time's come at a good time for them. The goal was an absolute sucker punch just before half-time. But when they are in possession, for me, I feel like they need to be better. They've been too wasteful and not even got into the final third, really.
Yeah, well, I suppose it was always going to be hard, Farah, because Arsenal top scorers in the WSL last season, and they didn't waste any time.
They didn't, and Beth Mead had a few chances just before her goal, and we could see her goal. She would have been disappointed with the chances she missed, but we have to highlight Kim Little here. We spoke about her before the game. The way she just tracks back, wins the ball back for her team, and they regain possession. But what she doesn't do is just stand where she is. As her team are building through Leah Williamson here, she stays alive, and you can see her working off the back shoulder here of the midfielder. And what happens, she's in a great position to just play the rolls really nicely here in midfield, and finds his pass out to Beth Mead, who finds herself on the left-hand side. The initial shot ricochets back to her, but this is what Beth Mead is very good at, cutting in off the left and just bending it into the far corner of her right foot. It's a fantastic finish, and one we expect from Beth Mead.
Carrying on that fine form, obviously top scorer in the Euros, player of the tournament, and I suppose she's just carrying on that confidence.
She's loving it, and what Beth Mead's really enjoying is that when the crowd's out like this, Beth Mead turns up. She loves scoring, and we've heard the same throughout the summer. Beth Mead's on fire, and she was with that goal, and she's had a few chances probably that she should have scored, but she opened up the goal for them. I'm sure we'll see more from her in the second half.
What are Rianne's going to be saying at half-time in that changing room?
I think they need to take control in that midfield area. I think we've touched on it. Maidemar is being man-marked at the moment, so that she's taking some of them out of the match and leaving a lot of space in that midfield area. And, you know, the pass into the forward is on every time. So I think it's just about communication. Yes, you can man-mark Maidemar, but there's so many more threats across that front line from Arsenal.
Well, actually, talking about that, Farah, I'll refresh your mind to 2015, actually, the World Cup. I think me and you were made to actually play a mark and go out of positions and follow our own player in that game. And it can be so frustrating. But you've actually seen Sumanam doing the same thing with Maidemar.
She has, but what it does when you do this, it disjoints the rest of the midfield that we're talking about. You can see here, Maidemar's clever. She's a smart player. She's just pulling them out of position. It allows massive spaces in between the lines, and this is where the Tottenham midfield have struggled. You'll see on the next clip when Maidemar has the ball on the next clip, and we'll just see as it comes here. And as she plays it, you would expect Sumanam to just go across. What she actually does is stay out, which then Drew Spence, you can see her really trying to make up the ground to block passes into the forward. But it's been a constant throughout this first half. And the one time that Sumanam actually leaves Maidemar, she gives the possession away, and there we are, Maidemar in the final third, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. She's going to tuck it away. But it was the first time Sumanam was actually in build-up for Tottenham. So she hasn't touched the ball much in possession. All of her work's been done out of possession. Here you can see when she does get on the ball, loose pass, and Maidemar then becomes free to just slot home, and it's a great finish and puts Arsenal 2-0 up, and it should have been more. So this is poor, probably reflects.
And Jenna, that's what you were actually saying, that when Tottenham do get on the ball, they can't be sloppy like this.
Absolutely not. I mean, especially the timing. To go in at 1-0, you know, you're still in the game. But to concede a goal like that, an error, you know, sloppy play out of the back, and yeah, it's a killer. And that's exactly what I mean. They've just got to be a bit more confident and look after the ball better. Yeah,
well, Farah, coming into the show, you highlighted a star player for Arsenal, and she is enjoying life today here at the Emirates, Kim Little.
She is, and it's because of that midfield that the role that Maidemar is doing. She's out of the game. So Volty and Kim Little actually been outstanding in this first half. But we can just see here, she just picks up the ball, and what she does, she starts attacks, whether that be from deep or whether that be high up. You can just see her running with the ball here, and then finds herself in an attacking position to get the ball in the box. But she's constant, always running forward. Look at this, she just runs past players. We can see her highlighted here. Wants to get on the ball, wants to make things happen, and that's a great half chance. She would have probably been disappointed that she hit it at the near post. We'd often see Kim put it to the far post there. But a constant in the first half, whether that be really deep, higher up, she's been involved in everything good of Arsenal today.
Continues to be a star player, Kim Little. But actually, a positive from Tottenham's perspective, Ashley Neville, fantastic defending throughout that first half.
Yeah, she's been phenomenal, and she has been for the last couple of seasons with Tottenham. I think you can see her hunger. She's a really horrible defender to play against. You know, she puts her body on the line. She wears her heart on her sleeve out there, and I think, you know, Tottenham need to start now on the front foot, put a bit of pressure onto Arsenal, force them into errors, because 2-0, you know, they are still in the game.
Yeah, they are still in the game. Okay, let's take a look at what's coming up on BBC over this weekend. You have all the highlights from the women's action on the Women's Football Show at 12:25 tomorrow night. And top of the running order will no doubt be Chelsea v Manchester City. Commentary on the season's first big showdown available on BBC Sounds tomorrow from 4 o'clock. And let us remind you, we have some bonus WSL action. Chelsea taking on West Ham live on BBC Two Wednesday from 7 o'clock or from 6:45 on the iPlayer. And you've got baseball right down there. A rivalry like none other. The New York Yankees taking on Boston Red Sox. And actually, the next weekend, there's this.
Come together for a marathon of fun and unity. Come together for the London Marathon. Watch live Sunday the 2nd of October on BBC Two and iPlayer.
Yeah, good luck to everyone taking part next Sunday. And Farage just told me she might even sign up next year.
I never done when I played, Alex.
I'll let you take that in right now. But let's get pitch side to Joe Curry, who's joined by Arsenal's chief exec.
Chesham has joined me pitchside. Vinay, the sun is shining, we've got a packed out crowd which we'll come on to in a moment, and Arsenal are winning 2-0. How much did you enjoy that first half?
I really enjoyed the first half. I thought we controlled the game really well for the whole 45 minutes, and we just got that second goal when we really, really needed it. So really pleased, and of course, watched by a huge crowd here today.
So just over 52,000 tickets were sold coming into today. It looks very much like you're going to beat the current WSL attendance record. How proud are you to be in charge of a club that's able to deliver an attendance like this?
Well, I'm hugely proud. I think today is another big milestone for women's football, and I'm proud that our club is playing a big part in that. We've sold over 52,000 tickets today, which is a phenomenal result. And as Jonas said in his press conference yesterday, these are tickets sold, so these tickets are not tickets that have been given away. And I think it's the result of a huge amount of work behind the scenes by our team to tirelessly work to sell the tickets. But the real credit goes to our fans, who've really responded to Leah's call after the Euros, where she said she wanted to leave a legacy. She said she wanted to see stadia full for WSL games, and our fans have really responded. So that's the thing I'm most proud about.
Yeah, days like today are such special occasions, and those fans here today, I think, Spurs or Arsenal will appreciate that as well. But I guess the big question is, how do you get to take occasions like this and translate it into crowds week on week at Boreham Wood, where Arsenal women normally play their games?
It's a great question. I mean, Arsenal Women has been a huge part of this football club all the way back to 1987 when we were founded. So 35 years later, it's great to be playing games like this today. We've got another one coming up against Chelsea in November, against Manchester United in November, and then Chelsea in January. And yes, the focus has to be around filling here, but also filling Boreham Wood. So I was delighted, just as delighted as I am here today, to see our games sold out to start the season last week against Brighton at Boreham Wood.
Yeah, we should get the official attendance through in the second half, and fingers crossed it is a record attendance for you. Vinay, thank you for joining us. Enjoyed the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Vinay. I'm sure it will, because looking around, you can't see behind the cameras, but everyone is waving at us, Farah. But actually, for Arsenal, what's so important for them this week, second leg of the Champions League, and it's going to be huge. They need a huge performance to qualify out of the group stage against away at Ajax.
Yeah, they do, and that's it. It's an away fixture, which is always a difficult fixture. I think they struggled a little bit in the first fixture, but this is a competition that Arsenal really want to progress in. The players that they have there, we heard Meadham was speaking on the reason why she signed. She wants to win this Champions League with Arsenal. So they'll have to go away to Ajax, and it'll be a tough game, but I'm sure this team can get through it. I think they needed a few games to build a bit of momentum. We've seen how good they've been in this first half. If they can carry it through, it gives them a great chance.
Okay, we sure have. Let's take a look at actually across the league, the women's games coming up on BBC this weekend. Remember, you can see it right here. You've got the other games taking place this weekend. All tomorrow, you've got the Merseyside derby at Anfield. Liverpool coming off a massive win against the champions Chelsea. And Chelsea take on Manchester City after both clubs lost the opening weekend. What an opening weekend it was. The shock there, Jenna, Chelsea and Manchester City both losing.
I don't think anyone saw that coming, but I think first and foremost you have to give credit to Liverpool and Aston Villa, the way they set out to frustrate the teams, and they did that. I thought Aston Villa especially were incredible on the day, and I think for Man City, I think, they got themselves back in the game in the second half. Obviously they've had a big turnover over the summer, but I think they'll be so disappointed. They got themselves back into the game, and that's when you need your leaders and your game management, and they just didn't have that. And Aston Villa, who were phenomenal from the first whistle to the end, punished them.
Rachel Daly there, the new addition, really showing up.
She did. I think this was a difference in his Aston Villa team. Last season they really struggled for goals, but what she brings is that energy up front, and we saw that in this Manchester City game. She brought that energy and that press, and that's where a lot of their goals come from. But with this Manchester City team, they've lost the core of their team, so they're in a rebuilding phase, and their fans are going to have to be patient, and it's probably going to be a Manchester City team that we're not used to seeing in the WSL.
They've lost key players, but still when you look at that Manchester City side, they're still full of experience.
They've got a few experience, but not WSL experience, Alex, and they haven't got players that have won WSL titles, FA Cups, don't know our league that well. So they have great players and they've recruited well. They've brought a younger squad in, but they've lost some big names and big characters within that team.
Okay, well, no sooner than leaving that game last weekend, getting home onto my sofa, turning on the Chelsea-Liverpool game. 3 penalties in that game and a shock result, Jenna.
Yeah, definitely. I think, when Chelsea got the penalty very early on, you thought that the game was only going to go one way, but Liverpool kept themselves in it, obviously got the 2 penalties, and they really, really frustrated. There, you're just seeing the second pen, that was the winning penalty for Liverpool. But yeah, Liverpool really, really frustrated Chelsea. Chelsea were wasteful in front of goal, and fair play to Liverpool. Game plan.
Yeah, I think that was it, Alex. In the final third, we're so used to seeing the quality of Chelsea. They just didn't demonstrate in the second half of this game, and Liverpool took full advantage at half-time, changing the tactics, and they come out in the second half and they frustrated Chelsea. And you saw with Emma Hayes' interview at the end of the game, she wasn't happy with the performance of her team.
Well, I'm smiling away at myself because I think it was last season they lost the opening game, and we know what then went on to happen. They won it, so it's most one made them a little bit angry, Faba. But let's take a quick look at all the best of the action from the first half.
What a game we have on our return here. It's the hottest ticket in town, the North London derby at the Emirates Stadium. Wriggling away and spotting Mead. Mead takes aim! Someone put her out. She's on fire. Now McCabe. Little! Side netting. Miedemar's through on goal here. It's Vivian Miedemar. She was never going to miss that.
Okay, just looking over my shoulder, the players are making their way out. Quick one from you, Jenna. How do Tottenham get back into this game?
Got to start on the front foot, like I said earlier. 2-0, they're still in the game. The next goal is vitally important in which way this game's going to go.
Okay, let's get you back to our commentary team of Rachel Brown-Finnis and Robin Cowan.
Thank you very much, Alex. Do wonder what Rhiannon Skinner said at half-time. Very different team talk to the one I'm sure she was preparing, but somehow they've really got to galvanise themselves, Rachel, for this second half.
They do. They've got to make more of a contest of it in this second half, because it was one-way traffic ultimately. Arsenal started on the front foot. They made it count after 5 minutes, and you could see a second, if not more, goals coming after that. So yes, Spurs need to offer more up top. The units have to be closer together to give themselves a chance once they regain possession to do something to try and damage Arsenal.
Easier said than done, given the way that Arsenal have approached this game and the firepower they have. It could have been so much more. Arsenal on their way to making it 2 wins from their opening 2 WSL games, stealing a march on those who are playing tomorrow. A few really good games to look forward to on Sunday. Merseyside derby. Before that, Chelsea against Manchester City. For Arsenal, Jonas Eidevall want them to keep the hammer down. Again, Kim Little wins the ball back brilliantly. Miedemar. Here's McCabe. Good cross delivered and good defensive positioning once again, this time from Bartrip. Cross comes in. Ford was there, but Dorsky just got the better of it.
Excellent defending from Spurs, and they know that they're going to have to do that as a basic. Protect Rebecca Spencer behind them. You can see their intention. Drew Spencer started higher up, closer to Kaya Simon to offer support to her. Try and not allow Arsenal as easy possession and to get out. Try and mark Leah Volti out of the game a little bit. Hard though when you've got Drew Spencer, who's just moved from Chelsea in the off-season, not played alongside Cho before. A few of those players who played last weekend have changed for today.
And there's been some evidence of that, hasn't there, that sometimes just not quite on the same wavelength, which will come.
Absolutely. Yeah, Rhiannon Skinner's added to her squad quite substantially this summer. And Drew Spencer's got plenty of WSL experience. She'd only ever been with Chelsea before this. Signed off her Chelsea career with lots and lots of trophies.
11 in all, not bad at all. Early ball in. deals with that before Mead can get to it. Little trying the crossfield pass, which is cut out. Simon sloppy.
And that's what Rhian Skinner will have been saying at half-time, is when you regain possession, you work so hard to do so. Take care of that beautifully crafted, specially commissioned first ever WSL ball.
Working for them. It's a good sell.
And it's just another sign though, isn't it? A little symbolic moment really, when that was announced.
Now on to Mead. Loose ball from Raffaelli, picked up by Céline Bizet.
Again, Kai Simon's there looking around. Sorry, Bizet looking around. Where are my options? Can't see them. Good teams, when they're in a flow, you can shut your eyes and know where players are going to be. Spurs are not there yet.
Mead. Early ball in, way too far in front of Miedema.
Right idea, wasn't it? Is that second 6-yard box that Mead hit. Ball in from the right-hand side. She wasn't trying to score on that one.
Wouldn't put it past her.
Perfected the crot.
Haven't seen that in a while, actually, have we?
That would be a reasonable time to pull it out, wouldn't it? Record crowd at the Emirates.
And Spurs just can't keep hold of it for more than a few seconds at the moment.
You can see that Drew Spence is higher up, that Cho is higher up in the midfield for Spurs, trying to offer that support, trying to cut off some of the playing lines for Leah Williamson and Raffaelli to be playing through the midfield as they did so easily in the first half.
Ford under pressure, puts it out of play.
Caitlin Ford will be desperate to have a consistent run of starts in this Arsenal team, and she was brilliant in the first half. The biggest pain for Spurs, relentless in running the balls down and not letting Spurs get possession. Constant threat on the back shoulder of the defenders. Katie McCabe, we know what she can do with dead ball position.
It's one of the positions where Arsenal don't lack depth at all. So got Lena Hurtig, new summer signing, and Stina Blackstenius on the bench. Mead delivers. Player down for Spurs. It's like Zadorsky.
The referee must have seen some sort of contact with Zadorsky's head. Clearly we don't want anything to be taken for granted. Got to make sure the player's all right. I think it was just elbow or shoulder of her teammate. Cho Sol-yun.
Play. Eventually loses out, and here she is again. Norwegian international. Arsenal aggressive and winning the ball back. Here is Ford. Now McCabe assessing her options. Here is Spence. Spurs trying to break away. It's a loose pass, and Arsenal try and capitalise on this. Miedema being pursued by Suominen. Miedema down. Rebecca Welsh, the referee, has played the advantage. Wienreuter, good save from Spencer in the end. And a yellow card.
Brilliant intricate play from Wienreuter this time, as Kim Little just slides it, and the 1-2. Beth Mead, good timing, good weighting of the ball. Excellent build-up from Arsenal.
Deep cross in, and Raffaele makes it 3. Arsenal finally get a goal from one of their many set pieces, and it's the Brazilian with her second goal for the club.
Just far too easy, just shoves off Suominen. See, she's tasked with marking Raffaele, and it's a great header. I mean, doesn't run onto the ball, she has to almost check her run, and from a standing jump, an exceptional header from Raffaele, and she's had an excellent game in possession, out of possession, not being particularly tested, but that is a towering header from the Brazilian centre-half.
Arsenal easing to victory here against their North London rivals.
It has very much been a one-sided affair.
A big week though coming up. Must win at Ajax to ensure they get into the group stage of the Champions League, and then the international break, and then favourable run of fixtures in the WSL. Reading, Liverpool, West Ham, Leicester can really lay down their mark at the start of this season. Ford scurrying away and waiting for Miedema to make a run forward. She was being impeded by Suominen, not spotted by the referee, and Ford has lashed out here at Suominen. Well, that was slightly unnecessary.
Well, frustration from Ford there. The fourth official's right next to that challenge. And I'd argue that Caitlin Ford is quite fortunate that that is just a yellow. It's completely unnecessary, as you said. Samana was going nowhere. You're 3-0 up. You're in the thick of Champions League games. You can see here Samana's very, very late tackle. Dispossessed. Samana just slides the ball away. Cynical challenge. Lost her cool there, Caitlin Ford. Say, if you wanted to know whether the North London derby was as tasty as you may think, there's your answer.
Spice level has increased. They took her standing foot out. That was really dangerous.
I think Arsenal will be looking to make changes ASAP. With, as you said, the return game against Ajax for the Champions League. As Emma Hayes, as Chelsea manager, has targeted that as a #1 priority. I'm sure Jonas Edeval will have his eyes on a similar prize.
We talk about their attacking prowess. If they go 8 without conceding, that would be a new WSL record. They are on 7 consecutive games at the moment. And Spurs at least prevent them from doing that. Here's Simon. Sumanen. Zadorsky. Catley. Definitely fouled. Another yellow card shown. Turner.
I think they were like other end of the spectrum yellows. Amy Turner just really is as the player swings a foot through it. That one there, a little bit more cynical. Caitlin Ford, there you go. Steph Catley, sorry, there you go. Amy Turner, a reintroduction to the Women's Super League after a couple of seasons out in the US.
Showing a smile, even though it is turning into a proper derby now.
Spurs fans will want to have something to cling on to. Whether it's a set piece, a counter-attack. Back into this contest.
Naz trying to get away from Little. Doesn't have Naz's pace, but has the nous.
The less youthful legs, Kim Little, are still very much effective. Pair that with one of the best football brains in the business. This is what we see.
As the old saying goes, first yard is up in the old noggin. Some of us have neither legs nor brain, though. Again, really good intervention from Ashley Neville. That's a really good ball as well, but player's been stopped.
There's Molly Bartrip, who's down.
A triple substitution for Spurs, imminent. Karczewska making her debut, another signing in the off-season. Another forward player, Polish international.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can now confirm an incredible record-breaking 53,737.
So here it is, a new record. Tickets sold, 53,757. And the attendance today, 47,367, a new record for a Women's Super League fixture. Previously held at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in 2019 between these two.
And that's what every Lioness who's been part of the journey, not just Lionesses, but every women's footballer, grassroots all the way up to elite, has wanted is the success of the national team this summer. And having the opportunity to see some world superstars every single week.
Yellow card for Neville.
Wouldn't be a North London derby if we didn't have that. Just a little bit late into it. Beth Mead's playing for it. A huge amount of contact, and I think that's what Ashley Neville's contesting there.
3-1 on yellow cards, Spurs lead at least. And here comes the triple substitution for Tottenham. Drew Spence coming off for Ramona Petzelberger. Made the switch from Aston Villa, so already has Super League experience. And Kaya Simon coming off. Their debut for Nicola Karcheska. And Angarad James, Welsh international, coming on for Cho So-hyun.
Angarad James, lots of experience in this league. She'll play holding midfield. Might allow Sumanen to go a little bit higher, then they'll swap roles.
Difficult situation though to come into as a sub, 3-0 down. I suppose nothing to lose really. Try and make an impact if possible.
I'm looking forward to seeing Karcheska. An out-and-out 9, as we mentioned earlier. That was kind of what Tottenham were missing.
Okay, works it back to Little, made by Bartrip. Played every single minute of every game in the WSL last season, Molly Bartrip. Here is Petzelberger. Quite work it towards Karcheska. Spurs' new number 9, just 22 years old, but top scorer for her club in France. 10 in 21 appearances as Fleury finished 4th in the French division, their highest ever finish.
It's wonderful, isn't it, to see the Women's Super League represented by so many different nations, from Brazilian to Australians to Europeans, and you know, every country across the world. Just shows you how A, attractive the league is, B, how professional it is, and how many people are actually watching games like this around the globe.
Perfect crossfield ball for Ford. Catley with the pullback. Here's Mead on to Miedemar. Couldn't quite work her way through the white wall. Ford to her Australian teammate Catley once again.
Yeah, well protected again by Ashley Neville. In particular, Molly Bartrip have been excellent at the back, really blocking, holding Miedemar, not letting her turn, and she was only about 8 or 10 yards out. Doing a good job, what they can do.
Here's Miedemar. Vision to find Ford. Mead up ahead. Back to Ford. The shot blocked away once again. Commitment in defence is still very much there for Spurs.
Yeah, and it's tough for Spurs. They've got to stay switched on. Caitlin Ford again, 1-2 with Beth Mead. Getting tight in the box is essential.
It's Miedemar! A second for Vivian Miedemar. A well-worked corner. And just like on the opening day against Brighton, Arsenal lead by 4 goals to 0 now. The floodgates have opened.
Spurs have done what they can, but didn't react quick enough to having 2 for the short corner. Allowed a ball in. Miedemar gets clattered by Becky Spencer. The defender just can't, Amy Turner can't quite get across. Ashley Neville can't quite get up quick enough And it's the simplest of glances of headers for Miedemar to turn home.
Arsenal substitution, Miedemar.
Another set piece that Spurs have conceded from.
8 WSL goals against Spurs alone for Vivianne Miedemar. And here come the substitutions. Miedemar leaves the field after scoring Arsenal's 4th goal. Jordan Nobbs coming on. And Caitlin Ford also off for Stina Blackstenius. Rotation. Good rest for those two ahead of that key Champions League fixture in midweek.
And a wonderful reception for Jordan Nobbs, who spent most of last season coming back from injury and trying to get a starting position in a midfield. Missed out on the Euros this summer with England. Very well thought of, from an England lioness perspective as well as Arsenal. Been here at the club since she was 2014. Great to see her back on the pitch at the Emirates.
This 150th WSL appearance. Yes, from that reception, extremely popular player, the club she's been at the majority of her adult career at least, signing from Sunderland as a teenager. Blackstenius, brilliant play, trying to set Beth Mead away. Neville's back pass just about reaches Spencer. But Arsenal now all over Spurs.
Such class.
Offside flag is up against Stina Blackstenius.
They just do the simple things exceptionally well, take real pride in weight of touches, basic passes, and that's very, very tight. Ball through to Blackstenius. Just maybe fractionally offside. Yeah, taking pride in doing the basics exceptionally well as the superior quality has put them 4-0 up.
Should mention the biggest attendance for a women's club football game still stands from 102 years ago. Dick Kerr ladies against St Helens at Goodison Park, 53,000. Getting there, nearly there.
It won't be Goodison, but it'll be Anfield tomorrow. I'll be taking my kids and lots of other children to that to watch. Should be exciting. Not had a derby for a while.
Saw your daughter, you said, picked out a goalkeeper's shirt.
Not under duress.
Okay.
Completely her own choice.
Of her own free will. I'll have to ask her, I think.
And I'm beaming with pride.
Here is Catley for Arsenal. Spurs will just have to put this one down to experience. It was always going to be difficult against this Arsenal team at this stadium.
At this stage in the season as well, we're bringing in new players, and that front line, I don't think it's going to be the final front line that Rhian Skinner started with. Rosella Ryan as well not being available with a broken foot sustained in the opening game.
Blackstenius onside. Blackstenius goes for goal, and Jordan Nobbs was in a little bit more space there.
lovely ball through, very similar to the last one that was flagged offside. This time managed to remain onside and cuts it onto a favoured right foot. Amy Turner just can't get back. Molly Barsham does just enough to put off Blackstenius.
Another substitution for Tottenham. Jessica Naz off and there's Mita Ale coming on. And Beth Mead. The Emirates rises. A bid farewell to Beth Mead for this game.
Being replaced by number 17, Lena Hurtig.
A little half lap of honour, Beth Mead. It's the best feeling in the world, feeling adored by the fans.
A real star. The star continues to rise as well. Lena Hurtig coming on. Just one of the 2 summer additions for Arsenal. And Beth Mead doing a lap of honour. She was substituted.
She's getting a standing ovation at that end behind Rebecca Spencer's goal. Everyone enjoyed what she did during the summer, appreciates what it meant, and also knows that it started here with that form last season for Arsenal. You said the revenge tour.
Soaking up the adoration from her adoring public. The nation's sweetheart.
It was great pre-match seeing her doing the rendition of Beth Mead's On Fire with our long-beloved Arsenal fan, Maria, who'd been at Boreham Wood for many years supporting Arsenal, who sadly passed away very recently and was remembered before the match on the big screens to all Arsenal fans here.
James trying to help it onto Neville. She's left it here for Bizet. Corner kick for Spurs.
Finally, a little bit of ambition from Spurs. Bizet and Ashley Neville both joined in with the attack. Bit of space in behind Katie McCabe.
It's going to be Bizet who takes the corner kick. Arsenal will be determined to preserve their clean sheet record. Here's Zadorsky in a bit of space. Swings the cross in, too much on it. A wasted opportunity for Tottenham.
It's going to be few and far between the chances for Spurs, and we see here on the screen Vic Akers, who I came up against many a time as manager of Arsenal and myself playing for Everton. Invariably Arsenal came out on top. He was the kit man at Arsenal for a long time and was one of the first managers really to integrate the women's team to the men's team, employing a number of Arsenal players in those early days.
I believe our own Alex Scott used to do the laundry.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Well, the men's team are doing her laundry now these days. Rightly so.
It's great to see how far women's football has come.
Just under a quarter of an hour remaining. Jonas Edeval will want them to keep going. And there could be a chance here for Spurs. Neville gets the cross in. It was towards Bizet, and Petzelberger almost stole that chance off her, and in doing so is clattered into Wienreuter. Lack of communication.
Yeah, it was a great ball from Neville, wasn't it? Who got herself free down that right-hand side. And it all looked primed as Ashley Neville gets in behind Raphael and Steph Catley. Oh, Bizet is just ready for that to redirect what was an excellent cross from Neville. And Petzelberger, only been on the pitch for a few minutes. Tries to steal across, win the header.
Again, just those little bits of communication to be ironed out. Not been a lot of turnover in player personnel for Arsenal. Very much the team that came second to Chelsea last season by just a single point in the title race. And that's what Jonas Eidevall wanted. The main priority was keeping the players that he wanted to.
You look at the list of players that Jonas Eidevall has brought in since he's been appointed. I think the major changes were then, weren't they, early on last summer. You can see the understanding that his team have in those pockets in midfield, the playmakers that he's got in defence, the attacking, stealing runs of the full-backs. They're a very well-oiled team.
It could be these early season fixtures that prove the difference, because they've already got that understanding there.
And their neighbours, Man City and Chelsea, have both lost their opening games as well.
Here's Blackstenius. Lays it off for Jordan Nobbs. Good block by Suominen.
What it would mean to Jordan Nobbs to get a goal on this platform. Trying to get herself in the eye of Serena Wiegmann's plans ahead of the World Cup in Australia and New Zealand next summer.
She was called into the squad for the 2 qualifiers, but didn't get on the pitch. Maybe a case of trying to build up fitness. We'll have to wait and see. Bizet, really sharp turn. Here's Petzelberger. James. Level offside anyway.
It's going to be hard, really, isn't it, for any player to infiltrate that team that, for the Lionesses I'm talking about. Obviously, Jill Scott and Ellen White retiring are the only 2 obvious spots up for grabs, but talk to any player in that England squad who's played alongside Jordan Nobbs and they'll know what sort of character she is on the pitch as well as off the pitch, and what positive influence she can have.
Wienreuter, dispossessed by Ale. Petzelberger tried to turn.
Really well read by Kim Little there. See exactly what Petzelberger was doing, and we've got past that midfield of Arsenal's. And I've been in situations playing for Everton and with the underdogs coming into a game against Arsenal, who are always the powerhouses of women's football, under the leadership of the likes of Vic Akers and after that as well. And it's hard. You've just got to keep believing in what you're doing. Never give up, try and remain disciplined. Inevitably, the quality, and I've seen players like Rachel Yankee, who are here today, Kelly Smith, and some of those Arsenal invincibles like Alex Scott as well. They're back at the top, Arsenal.
They can sit back and relax and see what unfolds tomorrow. The rest of the WSL fixtures take place. And there's a player down here after Jonas Eidevall got into a bit of a challenge with Bizet.
She's got a whack across the stomach, I think, on the challenge. Kate McCabe just saying hello.
In the way Katie McCabe does. Jordan Nobbs away. Hurtig in support. Nobbs tried to play her in. The pass cut out by Suominen. McCabe reminding everyone as the game starts to peter out a little bit that we're still playing and it's still very much a North London derby.
And she's a great player, Katie McCabe, a player that leads her team for the Republic of Ireland when she's out there, wears that captain's armband, leads by example. And does exactly the same for Arsenal.
Neville has taken up all sorts of positions this season. This afternoon, he's been all over the pitch. She's trusted in any position. Stinius turns away from Zadorsky, who's still trying to halt her progress. Little onto Nobbs. It's Catley. Williamson. Attempted flick by Little. I think it was just deflected away from the path of Blackstenius.
Now as they're fading a little, Spurs are just struggling to get near the ball. Arsenal are just winding down the game, draining Spurs of their energy because they're just creating so many gaps.
Substitution coming up for Arsenal. Frida Marnham on for the final 5 minutes. And while we're at it, as Lotte Wubben-Moy also gets ready to come on, Rachel Brown finished your Barclays Women's Player of the Match.
Player of the match is one I'm sure I will have given in the past, but it's Kim Little for Arsenal. She has been absolutely key, armband or no armband. She's been phenomenal. She's been that link between the defence and attack, both in and out of possession. Has been superbly influential for Arsenal, and duoed exceptionally well with Leah Valti as well.
Armband handed over to Leah Williamson. Another masterful display from Kim Little. Lotte Wubben-Moy coming on for Raffaelli, who is receiving some treatment at the moment.
Marnham, one of Edeval's signings. And I think that's what Arsenal have now. Under Joe Montemurro a couple of years ago, they lacked real depth of squad. And for whatever reason it is, that's what Arsenal have now. Centre half, you've got a lioness coming on, homegrown.
Another huge cheer for another Gunners fan. She scored in the Champions League, the Emirates last season. Here is Marnham. All in all, it's been a bit of a stroll for Arsenal.
It absolutely has. They've looked, everybody knows exactly what they should be doing, and it's reading those cues, but knowing what your players are going to be doing is key to that. So in possession at the back with the likes of Raphael, who's been brilliant today. In possession, you know what Beth Mead's going to be doing, and because you know what Beth Mead's going to be doing, you know what Kim Little's going to be doing, and it's all so well synchronised.
McCabe in a bit of space here. Options in the middle. Really good challenge from Ale.
Yeah, Ale, who's just come on, stuck to a task really, really well. Thought Katie McCabe might cut back onto her preferred left foot. But Lena Hurtig has just come on, has taken up a position in front of Becky Spencer, unmarked. As it stands, and the left foot in the swinger.
From McCabe. Williamson not happy with the attention she was given in the box. Nolte. Hurtig offside.
Good to see Raphael walking off unassisted. Nothing too problematic for her. It was just a trailing foot that caught her on her shin. I'm sure that Edevar will want to use her midweek in that game against Ajax where they have to go out and win.
She scored a great header this afternoon, and she hit the bar with a header from a corner against Ajax. A real threat in the air. Another really good weapon for Arsenal to utilise this season. Into the final minutes of normal time. That's a good win from Neville. And the effort over the bar from Karczewska.
Number 19, take them forward.
It was worth an effort. It wasn't too many obvious options. There's Rafaela, fully recovered on the bench. Interesting to see what Emma Hayes is watching this game, and Gareth Taylor, the Chelsea and Manchester City managers. You know, they won't look too much beyond that, what's in front of them tomorrow, but Arsenal have certainly put a mark on the match today, coming out and convincingly taking apart Spurs.
Still very early days. You know, Chelsea do tend to not win their first game, and yet they've won the last 3 in a row. WSL titles, and also Man City, after a dreadful start last season, managed to get that 3rd place. So still very early on, but I think because of the opponents from last week, Liverpool, Aston Villa, also West Ham winning, it's just going to get more difficult each time you have a slow start. Another year of being professional footballers under their belt for every player of every club.
Absolutely true. The gap, you know, between for the teams like Leicester have had another year under their belt, but I think they possibly might struggle this year. Rhiannon Skinner coming up just a few years ago with Spurs, then were a semi-professional team. But the likes of, like you said, West Ham, Aston Villa with Rachel Daly making key signings and really kind of stamping a bit of their authority on the league.
Arnhem skips away from the challenge. It's a good ball in. It's over the top from Hurtig. Corner kick is the decision.
That was a brilliant interception from Amy Turner there. Just about kept enough of a balance. Again, wonderful build-up play. Frida Marn and passing it across, and just see Amy Turner puts the brakes on in time to be able to rebalance herself and make some interception. Otherwise, that was a certain 5th for Lena Hurtig. Arsenal and Lena Hurtig.
Final minutes of stoppage time. This might be final chance for Arsenal to add further to the scoreline. Catley's corner over the top from Williamson.
Yeah, Leah Williamson would be disappointed with that one. Ended up the ball in. It was pretty much an unmarked header just got underneath of it. It went over the bar, but overall a clean sheet. Came very accustomed to those during the Euros as Lioness captain, Lee Williamson.
As well as a convincing win, Arsenal heading for a WSL record 8 games without conceding a goal. Full time. A commanding victory for Arsenal against their North London rivals at a packed Emirates Stadium. A goal from Mead, a double from Miedemar, and a brilliant header from Raffaelli. 2 wins out of 2 to start the new WSL season. The Gunners are firing on all cylinders.
Well, they've made their mark on this league, top of the table, 2 games in. As you said, the Gunners are absolutely firing. They've taken that confidence from last season, how they finished, from the Euros excitement, and they brought it to the nearly 50,000 fans that have showed up today. We want more of this, don't we, Robin?
Let's see if those 3 down there can resist dancing to this one. Arsenal 4, Tottenham Hotspur 0 at full time.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Robin. And what a day at the Emirates it has been. The crowd is still lapping it up. The entertainment they have seen. A dominant performance from Arsenal. Once again, those attacking players showing up. A magnificent performance by so many players. Farrah Williams, what impressed you about today?
I just think the intensity that Arsenal played at, I think the crowd helped that. I think the crowd was fantastic today, and I think when you get that as a player and you draw on that energy, I think it lifts your performance. I thought there were some very good individual performances from the Arsenal players, but there's a gulf between these 2 teams. I think the gulf between Arsenal and Tottenham and some of the teams in this league showed today, but this group of players, they're obviously disappointed from the title last season. They threw it away. We heard Leah Williams speak about that. They felt they threw it away. They've started this season phenomenally well, and today is a fantastic result for them. They can build on that. They've got Champions League midweek. They've been allowed to rest players with the performance and the result today. So they'll be excited for this performance.
You said about that gap, mind the gap, we're in London, why not? But Spurs obviously got off to a great start last season, but is that the difference between Arsenal today and that performance and how dominant they were?
Yeah, I think, it's always going to be a really tough task for this Tottenham team to come here. It's a very, very big pitch. The crowd is behind Arsenal, and I think there's lots of learning points to take from today. But every player's left everything out on the pitch for them. But yes, the gap is still there, and there's still lots of work to do. But take nothing away from those players. They've left everything on the pitch today.
What's disappointing me about this Tottenham team, we've heard Jan Skinner speaking about their building and trying to catch those top teams. I felt like this Tottenham team set up today just to not concede many goals. How many goals can they not concede against the Arsenal team? So a team that is trying to show progression, that doesn't show anything for me. And that was what was disappointing about this Tottenham team. And don't get me wrong, there was a massive crowd. Arsenal had the advantage of the home crowd. But I think in terms of how you set up, it was a very negative setup from the Tottenham team.
Yeah, I think they would have set up to know that they were going to be out of possession for long spells of the game. So off the ball, they have been better. But today, I think the golf just showed again.
Okay, we were just seeing the table there. Arsenal are currently top after those 2 games, and as you can see, the players are currently doing a lap to the fans to thank them for turning up today. This is what they wanted, and Arsenal fans turned out. And right now, we are joined by one of those players. Right now, I have stopped you from your lap of honour right there. Beth Mead, thank you for joining us. Another great performance today. And you can't stop scoring.
Again, still enjoying my football a season later, but I thought we played really well today. I think we were patient, compact, and we played very well as a team.
You say that confidence that you're carrying on from the Euros, but how was it for you to get up and go again and deliver? Because now there is the expectation on you.
Do you know what? The fans being here so much of an energy. it was incredible what we did in the summer, but now we want to continue this, and now, yeah, this is hopefully again still the beginning, and we're still putting the performances in.
How did you feel with the reception when you came off? Everyone up on their feet?
Ridiculous. I've never experienced that before, and honestly, like, the fans have been incredible.
I heard Jonas from the sideline. The intensity is starting to press out. Is that something new?
Sorry, so hard to hear you.
Jonas from the sideline, I could hear him shouting about the intensity and the press. Is that something you're trying to introduce in your game this season from last season, something that's different?
It's what we're good at, and when we do it, it's so effective and it's so hard to play against, and I thought every single player that started and came on today did that exceptionally, and we made that really hard for Tottenham.
What are you going to do when this is a fantastic crowd? And I said when you scored the goal, these are the games you're now used to playing in front of. What when you go back to Boreham Wood and the crowds of 2,000? How do you get that same energy to perform the way you did?
Yeah, obviously now it's hard. There's not as many fans. You get energy, a lot of energy from the fans out here, but as long as people keep coming and we can keep putting the performances in, that's a win.
Beth, going back to you, player of the tournament, top goal scorer, up for Ballon d'Or. Has it all sunk in? How do you feel?
I still feel like I'm on cloud 9. I feel like that's just me, and I don't think it'll sink in still for a long, long time.
Beth, we'll let you go and join the lap of honour.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay. Okay, I'll take you, Mike. You go. We don't want to stop her. Sweet Caroline is back. It was a magnificent performance. 4-0 they won against Brighton. 4-0 again today, Farah.
I think, you know, having worked with Jonas through the summer and having a little bit of insight into what Arsenal are doing, he'd be very pleased with the goals, yes, but more importantly with the clean sheet. And we've heard it. He wants to go and win this league. You know, they were so gutted last season, coming so close, and knowing it was down to themselves why they lost that title. He will want to come out this season and go and win that WSL. And they've started really well.
I think, you know, during the summer they didn't have a lot of movement, so they've got that stability, you know, they've got that core group of players and they're just building on it, and they've picked up just where they left off last season. They're looking very, very strong.
Jordan Nobbs there, been an Arsenal player for so many years. The scenes are amazing to see here, an historic day in the WSL. One of those players, Farah, you were so impressed with, spoke about her at the top of the show. Once again at half-time, player of the match, Kim Little, is with Joe Curry right now.
That was a wonderful result, also a wonderful performance by the team and by yourself personally. How much did you enjoy playing in that one?
Yeah, it was, first of all, thank you to the fans, obviously, for coming. They made an incredible atmosphere, and I think, you know, we turned up today and we did everything we planned and put on a show, so I hope we enjoyed it.
How aware were you of the fans during the game? Could you hear the noise?
Yeah, you're so aware of it, like you can hear now. And it does make a bit of a difference, you know, to have that atmosphere. And obviously in the summer at the Euros, the England girls felt that, and I'm glad that everyone's came out today to show that support again. And yeah, I'm just happy that we were able to put on a performance and get the 3 points.
That's 2 wins from 2 for this side. You've been around Arsenal throughout your career for a long, long time now, and you know what it takes to win titles with this league. Obviously it's still very early on, but are you getting the feeling that this could be Arsenal's year?
Yeah, you know, I hope so. I think we've started really well, especially in the league. We played Ajax midweek and our performance wasn't as good as we wanted it to be, so we need to keep improving, and we need to do that to try and stay ahead of the game, because, you know, other teams, Chelsea, Man City, Man United, Tottenham now are, you know, right there behind. So yeah, we just need to keep improving our performances, but today was a good start.
North London is red tonight. Will there be many celebrations from you and the girls?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have got families in town for the game today, so I think everyone will be enjoying time with them tonight.
Well, Kim, you are the player of the match, Barclays player of the match. Congratulations, here's your trophy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just right behind me, you can see the Arsenal players taking it all in and appreciating the 50,000 strong crowd turning out today. Farah, Miedemar can't even give us a smile. She doesn't change. 2 goals for Miedemar today. But talk about Kim Little right there. Arsenal captain. I know a lot of people were talking about obviously the England players returning, Farah, but she continues to deliver.
Every single season, Alex, she's just a phenomenal player. Ever since she was young, she broke into this Arsenal team. What is so impressive about her is her consistently levels throughout the season and then throughout each season. She continues to raise those levels, and she's always, you know, the one performer, whether it be defensively, when the game needs somebody to take it by the scruff of the neck, she's that one player that will do that and deliver.
Katie McCabe right here. She wants you back at Arsenal.
Yeah, she's just for Alex. I find words hard to describe her sometimes because she literally can do anything. Sometimes as a midfielder, you either play as a deep line, a box-to-box or a 10. She can do all of them because her understanding of the game is so good.
Okay, well, let's look at the second half goals, and I'm going to come straight to a defender. Rafaeli, she's a new recruit to this Arsenal team, and she adds a different dimension on from set pieces also.
Just seen how dominant she is in the air. She's risen above two Tottenham defenders there, and it's a fantastic header across the face of the goal. There you see it just rise in the highest, and it was a strong, powerful header into the corner across the goal. Becky Spencer didn't have a chance there.
Just really, really poor marking from the Spurs players, and it's something that we got used to last season. In terms of their setup, they set up very well, and they rarely conceded from set pieces. This is poor defending. No one's picked her up inside the box, and she just has a free header. When you have a free header running at goal, you have every chance of scoring.
Farah, you're talking about defending there and poor defending. One of the most prolific goal scorers in the women's game, Miedema, left unmarked to make it 4-0.
Yeah, and it's crazy now because this is a player that was man-marked or player-marked throughout the first half, but then you leave her unmarked. This is, I mean, the way she guides it to goal, you'll see as it comes in here, the cross from Catley. She's unmarked in between centre-halves here, and she just guides it, cushions it off the top of her head and into the goal. Her back's actually to goal, so the way she executes is as the ball comes in, she uses the speed of the ball from the delivery and just cushions it in with her head.
Yeah, I just feel Tottenham will be disappointed there that they weren't alert quick enough to the short corner. There was only one player out there initially, they just weren't switched on, and ultimately you get punished.
If you're looking at today's game, Jenna, what positives can be taken for Rianne Skinner?
And I think the second half they weren't broken down in open play really. It was two set pieces. I think you learn a lot of lessons in tough games like this. It's a tough environment to come into. They're a strong team. They've got a lot of new players out there, so they're still growing. There are positives to say. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to hurt, but they have to bounce back quickly.
And I'm sure they sure will. Farah, when you're thinking about throwing it forward, that yes, the Arsenal players can take all of this in right now, but then they've got a huge midweek game in the Champions League.
They do it, and it's a big one, Alex. They have to win that game, and you know, as I said, the players have come to this team because they want to be playing in these competitions for longer, till the latter stages of them. They were able to rest players today. We saw the likes of Miedema coming off, Beth Mead, Kim Little, so they've given those players a little bit of more time to recover because they do have to travel away in midweek, so that will take it out of the players a little bit. But I think the performance they gave today allowed for those players to be rested, and they're being good nick come the game on Wednesday.
And like Beth said, actually, it's gaining from this energy that the crowds that are coming out. An historic day to Jenna.
Yeah, it's incredible atmosphere. I mean, just look around. There's still so many fans here greeting the players, and that's why it's so special. I think it's, you know, it was so important to capitalise on the momentum and the success of Lionesses, and we're seeing exactly that.
Okay, well, before we go, just a reminder what we have coming up on the WSL for you. You have the Women's Football Show, which is at 12:25 tomorrow night. And you've got commentary of Chelsea v Manchester City available on BBC Sounds. That one from tomorrow, 4 o'clock. And then Chelsea v West Ham, bonus WSL for you on BBC Two, Wednesday from 7 o'clock or 6:45 on the iPlayer. Well, you two, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been an historic day here at the Emirates. A red-hot performance from the Gunners, and North London is still red. We'll see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.
Arsenal on their way to making it 2 wins from their opening 2 games. Mead takes aim! She's on fire. Miedema's never going to miss that. Deep cross in, makes it 3. It's Miedema! A second for Vivian Miedema. 2 wins out of 2. The Gunners are firing on all cylinders.